Hailing frequencies open, and welcome to Star Trek Discoverage, the live podcast that boldly goes into excruciating detail about this week's episode of Star Trek Prodigy. I'm your host, Aaron Coker, aka Caliban, and I am not equipped with butt grab handles, but I do come with side-deploying ass bags. Joining me on the show, as usual, is my co-host. She's also the co-host of the Generations Geek podcast, a more or less family-friendly celebration of geekdom. It's Ella Pearson. Ella, welcome back to Discoverage.
Thank you.
So good to have you here. And how are you doing?
I'm good. It's good to be here. Yeah.
I'll take it. I got my COVID booster today. I went to the doctor for a checkup, and I didn't know if they'd have them. And they're like, "Oh, we're giving out boosters." And I'm like, "All right, hit me up." And it wasn't even my brand. I'm mixing brands now.
Whoa, that's crazy. How do you feel?
Bad. It's already kicking in.
Bad?
Yeah, I know by tomorrow I'm not going to feel so great, but it's the right thing to do.
Better or worse than your second shot?
Time will tell, won't it? So far, not as bad, but tomorrow, who knows? I
got Moderna, and my second shot.
That's what that's what they say.
It was a whirlwind. So I'm gonna get the booster. You know, whenever I can get the booster, I'll get the booster. But I'm just expecting it to be extremely unpleasant. Yeah. But now I know. Now I know how to care for myself.
I was warned that the Moderna could have maybe more intense side effects than the one that I got, the Pfizer one, before.
Yeah, it was quite the trip. I'm from Minnesota. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been cold. and I learned when I had some friends from Egypt visit.
Yeah.
Not only have I been cold, but I know how to be and remain cold. Okay.
Sure.
And when I got my second shot, I learned that sometimes you're cold and there's no being at peace with remaining cold.
Right.
I was shivering 4 hours. It was crazy. Can't wait for my booster. It's gonna really complete. You know, you can't. It's like it's a trilogy.
Right. Yeah.
I can't.
Third one's always
Towers,
great.
And then exactly
we know that.
Fellowship Two Towers, but then Return of the King, and also it's not complete without it. So I can't wait.
Yeah.
But
well, let me know how that goes. I'll probably be able to ask you because we've got a lot of shows in our future.
Yes, so many.
Dipping into the world of Star Trek news. There's big news in the world of Trek, specifically related to Star Trek Prodigy. It was announced this week that the first season of Prodigy, oh boy, that's going to be a thing still. Prodigy will be 20 episodes long. It was also announced that the show has been greenlit for a second season. And get this, the release of these episodes is interesting. So we've got, of course, the fourth episode, third, fourth, depending on how you count, that we just watched today. The next one will come out next Thursday. And then, of course, the first episode of Star Trek Discovery Season 4 will come out next Thursday as well. Following on those next 3-4 weeks after that, Prodigy will go on hiatus and will return on January 6th and then run until February 3rd when the first episode of Picard Season 2 starts. So I guess all through January it will be running concurrently with Discovery. They haven't announced a Discovery hiatus as far as I can tell.
Dude, we're booked.
Yeah.
Our Thursdays we're booked out.
Yeah. And we're going to have to figure out a way. I mean, I guess we just talk about both of them, or maybe we could compare them, or
we could
find something to do. But looking forward to all this Trek in our future. And then, of course, I mentioned the 20 episodes. Those last 10 episodes, nobody really knows just yet. They said that they will be coming out in 2022, almost definitely after Picard is over, right? So maybe in April or something like that, the spring. We'll see.
That's bizarre. Do you think there's tea? Do you think they're finished? Like, do you think there's animators like working around the clock? They're like, we have to have this out by next year.
Yeah, I don't know. They're probably not all complete, especially if they've got a hiatus. But I think it's probably just worrying a little bit about running against yourself. Even though I don't think the audience for Discovery and Prodigy overlap, other than, Trek fans want to see them all, but like maybe kids aren't going to watch Discovery. And also maybe COVID, messed the schedule up and pushed some things around. They had delays in filming, but it seems like they're doing their best to kind of let the shows get out of each other's way as best as possible.
I mean, it's just like bonkers, the amount of shows, and then to have to be like, okay, we're going to go on hiatus because Disco is starting. But like you said, the overlap isn't huge, and it's not like it's airing on TV where it's like, oh, they're both on at 7 Central, so you better choose. It's like,
right.
It's just wild.
You just have to, put a 40 plus 20, an hour or so out of your day, which most people watch that much TV anyway. So I know I do. That's nothing compared to William Shatner's Tech War being adapted into an adult animated series. Have you heard about this? You seen this?
No.
Do you know what Tech War is?
No.
Tech War is a series of novels that William Shatner collaborated on, put his name on, as an author named Matt Mishenovitz is going to write this series. And it's about, it's like a cyberpunk thing, like in the future. And it's Tech War, because he's like, we got to go close, but still distinct legally. So this is Tech War. Let's take Star Trek, Tech War.
And you said it's going to be a series?
Yes, there's a bunch of these novels. There's like a handful of these novels. That's, I don't know. I don't think they have a network, but apparently they want to work on this. It's set in the year 2043. The novels are, maybe they'll bump that up. And it's a futuristic Los Angeles, kind of a noirish kind of thing. He's going after brain chips and mind-altering drugs and things like that.
Do you think that's just how William Shatner felt when he got cast in Star Trek? Like, do you think he was like, I am the king of futuristic LA?
This is maybe.
And he's like...
like this is,
and he's like,
I'm on TV. This is my springboard to co-write some sci-fi books.
Exactly. He's like, write the novels, get it on TV.
Yeah. So looking forward to that, I guess. Let's talk about what we watched tonight. We've seen the 4th episode of Star Trek Prodigy, an episode called Dreamcatcher, and we're here to talk all about it. But first, as always, a warning. We're setting a course for the spoiler zone listeners, so be warned. We're glad you decided to join us. But if you haven't seen the episode, spoilers are incoming. The official synopsis for Dreamcatcher is, the crew has their first away mission on an undiscovered planet that manifests their deepest desires, only to realize the planet has desires of its own. This episode was written by Lisa Schultz-Boyd. This is Boyd's first Trek script, but she was previously a writer on the Star series Black Sails. This episode was directed by Steve In Chang-an and Sung Shin, and they are both animators who have directed and worked as artists for various recent animated series. Still no star date. Remains to be seen if we'll get some star dates in this episode. But that's okay. There's no real facts to talk about. I don't know how these are made. I don't know if we have to wait for the ready room to run to get the behind the scenes stuff, but I couldn't find any facts about this. But I did want to talk about something that we talked about last week, which was me getting excited about the prospect of a Star Trek Prodigy movie or a live action movie. But it was announced by Paramount yesterday that they would be pushing back their movie schedule for the future. So their Transformers Rise of the Beasts prequel will be pushed from June 24th of next year to June 9th. Yes. And then the still untitled, no information, no cast, no script, a Star Trek movie was supposed to have come out on June 9th, 2023, but has been delayed to December 22nd of 2023.
How could they push back Transformers Rise of the Beasts? How could they do that to us? How will we go on?
At some point, I think I forced myself to watch all the Transformers movies, but didn't they? They just like rebooted, right? Or maybe it was the same universe, but they had Haley Steinfeld and Bumblebee. But now this will be a prequel, so maybe it's going to be Beast Wars or maybe the Dinobots. I don't know.
I love Pacific Rim, so I'm not going to act like I'm better than anyone, but I've never seen a single Transformers movie.
Well, they're comparable, I think. I think there's you might actually enjoy them.
Are they? Do you think the first couple I would?
I don't want to be responsible for that. Don't watch them because I told you to.
I unironically love the first Pacific Rim movie so much. Yeah. So it's possible. Right?
Yeah, it's possible. It's also giant metal men punching each other and chaos. So we'll see what happens with that. We know that WandaVision director Matt Shakman is directing the film, and there's a couple people rewriting the script currently. So we'll see if they can get that out in, I guess, 2 years, basically. Let's talk about our episode tonight. What did you think about Dreamcatcher?
I really liked it. I was pretty impressed, and I loved how it felt like, obviously we have the big cliffhanger at the end, but it felt like initially very like one-off, like, oh, we're stopping at this planet. Like, it felt very TOS to me.
Yeah.
Which I was enjoying.
Yeah.
What did you think?
TOS and TAS. Both of these episodes are reminiscent of the Shoreleaf planet, only like a sort of dark version of the Shoreleaf planet. And I think it's a good idea. I don't want them to do it too often, but with 20 episodes, I think that they should probably steal or revisit animated series premises. But it seems like because it's a kids show, they have to pick the fun ones. Like, oh, we're the size of dolls, and not like, oh, your gods are fake. I'm an alien. Like, not the Emmy winning ones, not the serious ones. But yeah, I thought this was a good premise for them to try and dive into, and it's that cool kind of smart writing where we don't have to stop and everybody is in the mess and they all tell you their life stories. I mean, there's a way to make that work, but we're learning about all these characters through their desires, that are revealed to them by this planet.
Yeah, I mean, and I was feeling like as we were watching it, I was like, it's like we know kind of what they want. But then to watch it play out on screen or like watch them, I think, realize that it was fake is like a lot more moving than being like, all right, she wants her dad to her dad sucks, right?
Yeah.
But it's way more like impactful, especially I thought with Gwen, because she Doll realized that it wasn't real, but only because Janeway was there.
That's something that I think is an interesting thing that we learn about his character when he doesn't see anything. It's almost like he's such a stranger to his own past. He doesn't even know his parents' faces, and so the planet maybe literally just has nothing to grab. A bigger car, a giant Hot Wheels track for his car. I don't know, and so it's just like, all right, maybe I'll just pretend to be Janeway and I'll just try to do it that way because I can't get a grip on this kid.
Yeah, I mean, I also think like he's functioning as our leader, right? So the aliens would maybe tap into that and be like, all right, so we'll talk to this one, I guess, because they're
take your leader to be. Yeah,
exactly, allowing him to be in charge.
Yeah. His captaincy is not stellar so far, and I think that the show is making a point of showing that he is not fit for this chair. He's petulant, and they have this. Okay, so Janeway the ship. Nobody knew that it was going to be an evil vine planet, but it's a perfectly reasonable thing. Let's go check this planet out. We're explorers, and he's like, I don't know. So like, it remains to be seen if he will continue to be a really kind of crappy leader.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's interesting to find out, or at least confirm this week, that the thing that the titular prodigy, I'm guessing Gwen, is being trained for is to use this ship that she is, her whole life been drilled by her father to apparently take control of this ship. To do what? We don't know.
It's gotta be something like a spore drive, don't you think? Or do you think it's like a weapon?
You know what? I'm torn between both of those things because I can't. I don't know. Maybe I just don't have a head for ships, but I only realized tonight when I was watching the opening sequence that when near the end of the opening sequence, the ship goes into like super warp and like a third engine like comes out of the back of it. And so I was thinking,
oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, maybe that like thing that Zero is obsessed with, that thing that we see in engineering, is like part of their like transwarp or their super drive or something like that. So it could be that. But also I was thinking, maybe the diviner has been training his spawn to fly this ship to Earth or something like that and do a Shinzon plan. That it's just a giant bomb or something like that on the ship. So yeah, I mean, both of those seem plausible to me.
Yeah, I mean, because it's got to be something equally as what's the right word? Like impactful
Mm-hmm.
as a sport drive, you know? So, but I mean, but it can't be a sport drive because that would be boring because it's in the other show. So it's gotta be something a little different.
Yeah,
But
I would not heavily. I guess I would lean slightly towards some kind of propulsion because something I've noticed a lot in modern Trek and even like in later the 90s and 2000s era Trek is that like Star Trek's like kind of tired of traveling. They're kind of bored with the whole trekking part of it. And so they just want to like, we want cool planets. We want, you know, crazy aliens and morality plays, but we want to just kind of get there. Like we don't want to
zip.
Yeah, we're not interested in really like, then we flew over here, and then we flew over there. And I think part of it is that people care more about continuity these days. So when they say, for instance, oh, we're in the Hirogen system, I'm like, okay, but what does that mean exactly? Do I see any Hirogen around here? Yeah. But that's interesting because, like, you know, the Hirogen never mentioned a system, and they all live on ships. So maybe their planet of evil vines sucked and they all left to hunt among the spaceways.
Could be.
I like that.
I don't know, you know, don't you think like the dude, what is he? Our diviner, what's it called? I would think his vibe is maybe more that he would make a big plan to capture what he thinks is a weapon. You know, call it what you would. Call it a Death Star. But
or a Death Star, like William Shatner would say
exactly
in his book.
We'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess we'll have to. He certainly doesn't seem to have good intentions. Just other little bits of interesting continuity that we see in the episode. Obviously, we see that. I don't think we know what Del's race is, but he doesn't even. He's just assuming that his parents are the same race as him, and I think that's fair. But we still don't know what his race is. Jankum mentions during the episode that he was on a Tellarite sleeper ship. So I think that's that's a little hint as to why he is here in the Delta Quadrant. I don't know if the Tellarites have generation ships or if he just means, were the Tellarites in a war like the Klingons and they froze a bunch of people and just shot them out in random directions, like in the TNG episode. I don't know, but clearly he didn't plan on being where he is.
I kind of thought, you know, when you're on a sleeper ship, it's like most of the people are asleep, but there has to be a skeleton crew running the thing. So I kind of figured like maybe he and his family were more of like lower class and they were the ones running the ship, because otherwise why would he be like, oh yes, the soup that smells just, it's like, no, because you're not eating. If you're asleep, getting to the Delta Quadrant, and they could have been captured or whatever.
That's possible. Yeah. We don't know how old he is. We assume that he is older than, say, Del. So yeah, maybe
I thought he was like 15.
Oh, you think so?
I thought that the posters,
okay.
like they put out those graphics.
I haven't read the graphics. Okay. Then he's a very mature 15.
But well, that's because I only remember that because I was like, he's 15.
I couldn't have that many
piercings
at 15.
Alpha just says young Tellarite male, so maybe I'm not sure. I swear I read a graphic that was like, he's 15, and I was like, pardon?
He seems like a teen with attitude.
He certainly does. And I also will say that when he got to that little house, I was like, it's Shrek. And I am not like a Shrek fan, and I didn't really watch it growing up, but he got there and I was like, it's Shrek. Like right away, I was like, it's Shrek. He's going to say, get out of my swamp. I don't know why. I don't know what the vibe was that was serving me Shrek, but I was like, I know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be Shrek in there. And thank God I was wrong.
I'm going to see Shrek every time I see him now. And I
do love that actor, though. He was in the actor who plays Jingle Puck was in The Good Place.
Yeah. He's been in a lot of stuff. Yeah. He does a lot of animation too. He's a good voice actor. He's a good actor, but he cannot hide his voice. It's like that same voice every time.
No. Yeah.
I like that Rock Talk is, once again, I love Rock Talk, but you have to wonder, is it really right that this very young child is thrown into these horrible situations?
I'm like, that is a little girl.
I know. The planet manifests a bunch of pogs for her, and she's like, oh, great.
That's literally what I was thinking. I was like, can we give her a moment, please?
Yeah. And then they're all gone. And she's like, oh, what?
She's too little.
Yeah.
Put her back on the ship.
I do like the fact, though, that was, it like swarmed her with these little pog-like creatures, because it's, once she was awake, she just broke right out. Like, she was possibly the most dangerous physically, but she was just overwhelmed. And then we see a kind of interesting thing with Zero. I don't know if Zero is a big Shining fan or what, but Zero's caught in a hedge maze, which she's the only person who gets caught in something like that. So that's important somehow. And then at the center sees this mysterious engine or whatever this thing is on the ship that
looks a lot like Zero, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. You know what? It does. Yeah, yeah.
But maybe that's just what Zero wants,
Well, Zero does seem to have very little concern for their own well-being. And the more I thought about it, like, can Zero die? Like, if Zero is
that's what I was gonna say. If I was non-corporeal, I would just be touching stuff too. I'd be an alien. I'd just be touching whatever I want on an alien planet. I wouldn't care.
Yeah, your idea of, like, personal safety and like what you can and can't do would be totally different. So I think that's interesting that comes out.
Because what happens if the robot busts, Then Zero is just there.
The crew goes insane, and then Zero is just there by himself, feeding everybody applesauce. Yeah. Janeway, of course, it returns in this episode. When Gwen reprogrammed Janeway, I was like, no! What are you doing? Restore from backup.
Don't touch her!
Get away from her, you bitch! But I did like the fact that once she had kind of reset her or tamed her, then she was like ready to go. And we established early on that you can't really fly the ship by yourself. But she immediately puts Janeway to work. And then Janeway, who presumably can do computer stuff, like just probably with her brain or whatever, is like sitting at the con, like doing con stuff. I thought that was kind of like, oh, okay. I could see it. I'll take a twofer where these two just cruise through the universe together.
Did you feel, how is it that Gwen was able to so quickly reprogram the whole ship? I get the linguistics, the everything.
Yeah.
But that was very fast.
It was. I don't know. I don't know if it's connected to this ability that we see her use, or if she just, she has a holopod and she's trained on schematics for the protostar or something like that. Well, I guess
I was gonna say, do you think that our diviner has like a Starfleet, like, what they make pilots practice flights in?
Yeah, a flight sim, sure.
Like he's still one of those,
do a
but
barrel
it's
roll.
like a Starfleet. Exactly. It's like a Starfleet model.
That'd be cool.
And she's like, hey, I know this.
I think it's, we'll find out like how much she knew and how much her father knows about the protostar in the future. But I thought it would have been interesting if she, we established that she's unfamiliar with the ship, but like if she knew what the ship was, or at least recognized it, but didn't say anything until she was on board. And we knew that, she had explicitly been training to take control of this ship. They just can't find it for whatever reason. But it does seem like,
I also think she says something about like, oh, my father was training me for this ship. And it's like, if I was like an evil overlord, I would also want my daughter to know like every language and it's like, I wouldn't train like specifically for one ship. I'd be like, get her into every language class. I want her to know everything.
Yeah. I want her to do aversion therapy with young cat girls so she doesn't feel any any remorse when we enslave them and do her job as best as she can. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that you can think of to say about the episode?
I don't know. I was a little surprised by the like such a hard cliffhanger.
Yeah.
At the end.
Sure.
But then I was thinking about it and I was like, Another animated show for children that I still watch now is Avatar: The Last Airbender. And
Oh
some of
yeah.
their episodes have some pretty extreme cliffhangers. So I was watching it and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe they left that right there. Like how bold. And then I was like, Avatar did that. It's not like when you make a kids show, it's not like every episode has to be like a full, perfect, like a storybook chapter. So I'm happy that they're not like making sure that everything like wraps up perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a good example. The Last Airbender, like how Nick, is doing some of these. I was thinking about, speaking of Last Airbender, do you think like Murph is like the Appa of the show, or does Murph have hidden depths, and Murph is going to have a whole like Groot subplot or something where Murph, maybe this is just Murph's larval form, they'll
I think
get
the
bigger.
ooh, that's good, actually. I think Groot is a better comparison because Appa he's so reliable from the jump,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like he's saving those kids, he's flying them away like from the start. So I feel like Murph not quite there, but like when Groot's like a teenager and he's grown up and he's kind of helpful, maybe we'll get there.
Sure.
Maybe it is a larva.
Yeah, I mean, if Murph matures a little bit, it might be useful to have a blob that can eat anything, or maybe do other stretchy things.
Literally, The Blob, that movie.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Murph could be the Blob. That traumatized me when I was like 10.
The new one, the '80s one, or the Steve McQueen one?
I'm assuming Stephen King because it was black and white.
Yeah, that's the one from the '50s.
It was yeah. I don't think Scott would dare to show me the '80s one first. He showed me the black and white one when I was a little too young, terrified.
Yeah.
So I can't wait because it'll Murph, it'll be like the Blob PTSD. Send me right back. I won't even be able to get on the show.
And now you're horrified by communists.
Exactly. And I am.
You can't even look at the color red. I guess the last thing that I would say is that I think it would be cool if we did see a Hirogen or some Hirogen. I think they've definitely shown the propensity to bring in Voyager elements. I thought for sure, maybe I was just being presumptuous, that Chakotay would show up somehow in this episode.
No.
But they're saving that for the future still, it looks like. But yeah, like seeing some Hirogen, maybe some nice Hirogen. Maybe there's Hirogen on this planet still, and they're hiding because they don't want to hunt. And they get help from them. I want to see an animated Hirogen.
If the hologram Janeway could walk up the ship, then maybe we'd see Chakotay on the planet.
Oh, there's a good question. Do you think that she'll get like a mobile emitter?
Well, we have to see. I think we'd have to see maybe next season. We'd have to see maybe the next 10 episodes. We'd have to see a lot more from her, don't you think, for her to get a mobile emitter? Like we need, like she's not really a her own character yet.
Yeah.
Like obviously she looks like Janeway and she kind of talks like Janeway, but like it's not Janeway, and she hasn't gotten to the point I think yet where it's like, oh, she's her own thing kind of, but maybe she'll get there.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Presumably the technology is available if they can reverse engineer the doctors. And then also, like, speaking of like Starfleet, I was thinking, this is just a theory, but like maybe Chakotay's involvement, and we've seen, the other announced cast members that are presumably Starfleet members, they have ranks. Maybe he's part of like some like Project Pathfinder 2, where they sent a ship like the Protostar, maybe the Protostar, out there and then lost it. And so, he's trying to do what Reginald Barclay was doing before, trying to communicate with the Delta Quadrant, keep up ties. I don't know, maybe get on the horn to Neelix, see what's going on with him.
Oh my God. How heartbreaking would that be though for Chakotay to come on board the ship and be like, Janeway? She's
Right.
like, actually, no.
Right. Catherine, is that you? Yeah.
Catherine.
Oh,
He'd already be putting nails in the homemade bathtub. The second after 1 second of
I bought
eyes
a
longer,
monkey.
he'd be like, hang on.
Yeah. Right. Oh, we're gonna have to get used to it. I'm still preparing. I'm still preparing for the JC ships to win out, but we'll see. Well, if that's all that you can think of to say, that's pretty much all I can think of to say. Oh, I wanted to mention really fast, The Runaway. I love The Runaway. People laugh at the what's the name of Picard's car. I can't remember now. All I can think of is the Mako from Mass Effect, but the Argo. More cars. More cars in Star Trek.
Picard's car is called the Picard.
Okay, all right.
Obviously.
Well, you won this one, but I'll be back next week. But that's it for this week. Thanks for joining us, listeners. If you like what you hear, you can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at EISTPod for updates and to get notified when new episodes of both Enterprising Individuals and Discoverage are released. You can tweet to us on the show by using the hashtag Discoverage, or you can email us at eistpod@gmail.com. And while you're on the internet, why not head to your listening platform of choice and subscribe to our show feed? Give us a rating and a review because it really helps us out. If you want to help the show grow, stop by our Patreon page at patreon.com/EISTpod. And as always, if you like the show, tell a friend. Discoverage will return on November 18th for the 5th episode of Star Trek Prodigy and the first episode of Season 4 of Star Trek Discoverage, or Discovery. We don't know the title of the Prodigy episode yet, but we do know the title of the Discovery episode. It's Kobayashi Maru. So interesting. I'll have to look that up. I wonder if that name means anything. We'll be here next Thursday to cover that. We'll be going live once again at 8 p.m. Central, so join us then. You can follow us on Twitter or Facebook at EISTPod to get notified when we're live and broadcasting. And in the meantime, you can check out our main show, Enterprising Individuals, at enterprisingindividuals.com. Every Wednesday on the show, I and a guest discuss in excruciating detail a selected episode from a Star Trek series. We also have news from the Star Trek sphere and interviews with special guests. Our latest episode just dropped, and on it I'm joined by Ella, as well as Gooey Fame of the Virtual Theater podcast, and Mikan Hana of Sailor Noob for a holiday party where we talk Trek, pop culture, and play some Star Trek Trivial Pursuit. And
Super fun.
Ella acquitted herself pretty well.
Yeah, honestly, much better than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to biff it so hard. You did okay. You did good.
It was all worth something.
It was. I only came to see how well I would do in the Star Trek.
I came to win.
Obviously.
Well, thanks as always for joining me to talk about tonight's episode of Prodigy, and remind people where they can find you online.
My home podcast is Generations Geek, and my personal accounts are at Gondor Gold.
Awesome.
Got the G's going for some reason.
Yeah, all the G's. And you can find me on Twitter at KA1IBAN, and all the shows on the Just Enough Trope Network at Just Enough Trope on Twitter. And that is it for us. Thanks for listening. We are signing off. This is Aaron for Ella saying live long and prosper.